Good evening and welcome to Plonk of the Week. It's Saturday night, it's 7 o'clock, and you know what to do. We're in the company, as ever, of Chris Walkey, Mr. Fizz, as I like to call him, who's brought along a series of, I think, rosé wines tonight for us to have a little taste of. And for the first time ever, in a much more relaxed role than normal, Mr. William Clouston, who's head of the Social Democrat Party. Very good, very nice to see you.
Good to be here.
I think you're the first official politician we've had,
really,
to do the show. Yeah, so
best behaviour.
So we expect a very high level of intellectual discourse.
Absolutely.
Well, let's
Which is unlike
set the trend.
Unlike what we normally do.
See if I can get it rolling.
Yeah, and I've also been given permission, you might have noticed by Pooch, not to wear a tie for the first time. So, so here I am. So we are fully relaxed. Oliver's here as well. Who is, of course, Chris' son, the man that pours the stuff. So tell us about what you've got.
Let's get underway. We're starting with pink from across Europe. So the first one is under £10 as usual.
Yeah.
It's £7.25, not from Waitrose, it's from Aldi.
Okay.
So it's French and it's Provence. So
very nice.
Isn't that a lovely wine that we all love? The lovely colour from the region, south of France there.
Oh, I do like the look of that. That is very nice.
It's a nice...
I do like a Provence rosé. There it is, Plonk of the Week.
To match the weather we've been having, we've had some lovely blue skies and very warm.
I saw somebody the other day on Twitter, I think it was last week actually, officially declaring rosé season open, because I sometimes get the mickey taken out of me by colleagues because I quite like rosé and I'll drink it. Yeah, and I'll quite often go to the pub and they'll go, "What do you want? I have a glass of rosé."
Pint of rosé, please.
Pint of rosé.
Pint of rosé.
Partly because when I stopped. Well, not when I stopped, eating and drinking, but when I tried to sort of cut down on my calorie count, I sort of stopped drinking beer because I'd normally have a pint of Guinness or something. So I don't really drink pints of beer anymore. So I always have a glass of rosé.
Yeah.
And people go, "What, glass of rosé?
That's the only thing, isn't it? With your mates in a pub, it's like, what? Just
you don't. There's a very strong
and a rosé.
Yeah, there's a strong prohibition on. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, on drinking wine in pubs, I can't really do it. I just drink beer in pubs, but I don't drink much beer at home.
No, you tend not to. So
you don't. Yeah.
So what beer do you drink in the pub normally?
Just a good IPA, something like that. Yeah, but not lager. Just
no,
beer.
not Guinness.
I mean I drink when I'm doing dry January. I drink the Guinness Syrah because it's the closest. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Pooch doesn't understand, so would you mind repeating that?
What's that? No, it's crazy, isn't it? The thing is, it's not...
Never heard of it.
That's the closest thing you can get in most general pubs, so you virtually get away with it. But
do you ever drink that ghastly stuff, otherwise known as non-alcoholic wine?
No.
In dry January?
No, I've never had that.
No, I don't see it.
No,
I'm not a fan.
To some extent. I mean, I didn't do it this year. I did it last year. You get better at doing it. I don't mind doing it. I drink quite a lot, and I quite enjoy, particularly after Christmas.
Well, whenever I see you,
chilling.
apart from in the studio when we're talking and chatting away, I mean, if I see you outside, you're normally drinking something, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I like a drink. Yeah, and I
setting his profile.
This is lovely, by the way.
It is very.
This is really nice.
£7.25. So
and
it's
I guess for Aldi, that's probably one of the more expensive.
I think it is. Yeah, I mean
because they'll do cheaper than that.
They do cheaper than that, but this Provence wine set probably puts it up a little.
Aix-en-Provence.
So one of the
lovely part of the world.
The regions down there.
This is really nice.
Mixture of grapes, Grenache, Syrah, Cab Sauvignon, also whites like Claret, but it's a beautiful region. Actually, what they do is they produce around about just under half of France's rosé wines in that region, and 6% of the world's rosé wines are actually produced in the southern part of France, there, the Provence.
And this is probably when we should ask you how they make rosé wine, because people probably want to know what's the difference between white wine, rosé wine, and red wine.
So with a rosé wines, they generally will be nearly always made with a black grape. And any grape's got clear juice in it, so you squeeze it's got clear juice, but it's the skin that has like the tannins and it has the pigments in. So the longer that it stays on the skin, then that kind of colour bleeds out, should we say. So if you leave it, maybe something like it's between 2 to 24 hours will give you that kind of rosé colour, depending on what the winemaker wants. And obviously if they leave it for a long time, we're going to go into red wines.
Right.
So I think Champagne's a little bit different, so they can have white grapes and they sometimes had a little bit of red wine to give it that pink colour. But generally, it is the skin contact on
because
the
sometimes you'll get a darker rosé, won't you?
Yeah.
There is some. I mean, I'm as I say, a big fan of rosé. I'll sometimes there's this particular Spanish one that I get sometimes, which is quite dark and a bit heavier. So is that just because it's been in the steeping sort of longer.
Yeah, so once they've all look crushed and type of thing, they're leaving it on the skins, and that it depends on the grape as well. Some of them may have a bit of a darker tint, a heavier kind of tint, and it's just the length of time. But usually the winemaker will be very specific on the colour, so they'll be checking regularly the colour. They'll see it on there and they go, right, ready now. Let's filter this out and let's get the juice removed from the.
So who's producing it? So the French produce a huge amount of rosé, but the Kiwis are doing it. And
I think many places do. I think many places now try and offer all types of wine. So if it's a white rosé, a red wine, and also sparkling is very popular. So they add that to their portfolio, and they add in some of the non-alcoholic wines as well as they do. But all around the world, English do some nice sparkling, do some nice rosé wines. French do, Italians, so all over. I think generally most countries you'll find, even over in Japan, they're rosé. So it's very popular.
We like British rosé. People think that if you chat to people, where do they think most wine's produced? They think it looks something like the range of wines that they see on the supermarket shelves.
Right.
And you say, like, because in aggregate, say the Italians produce a colossal amount of wine compared to the Australians. But you don't see it so much. So people don't sort of.
But I think it's like, yes, Europe, so it's France, Spain, and Italy produced a massive load of wine. England produces a very tiny amount, really.
Growing then?
And
growing?
Yeah, that is, yeah. I mean, I think it was like 500 just a few years ago, how many vineyards there were. There's now well over 1,000, it's growing all the time. The land's cheaper. The climate change, the natural climate change is progressing to be better, more north, more north you go.
North. It's sparkling wine production.
Exactly, yeah. So it's leaving the Champagne region.
Well, isn't it true that quite a few champagne houses have bought properties in Kent and Sussex because it's now like what the Champagne region used to be in terms of the soil.
Applying all of their expertise.
But I think the trouble with English products, I think they're too expensive. I don't know whether that's as a result of the government and tax and everything, but
we've got to blame them for something.
As a general rule, I would say if I was to get like a Chapel Down or something from Kent, they're quite pricey.
It could be like £28 or £35 for the sparkling, and then that's when the problem comes in, because you think, well, I can get the champagne at Tesco's and it's 25, and it may be a brand that I know, let's say Piper Heidsieck or Lanson, and then you're pulled to that. But to be honest with you, yes, it is costly. I don't disagree with that, but there are some amazing flavours.
If it's that good, though, you can get away with it, can't you? In certain drinks, the drinks market's weird, isn't it? Because you it's like some whiskies and spirits. Particularly when I'm told that when you're selling it to Southeast Asia, China, and places in Japan, that if it doesn't sell at 50 quid or 100 quid, just double it. And it'll sell. So you get this weird demand curve. Like if it's that good and it's that expensive.
Yeah. I said that to somebody about a house the other day because he was telling me, it was Kelvin, wasn't it? Who was saying that he couldn't sell his house. He might not want us to tell that story, but anyway.
Someone.
I said, just double the price. You've gone mad. I went, no. I said, because then you'll get the catchment of people who are looking for a house that's that much. And you never know.
But
you
we
might,
had a champagne
go,
label.
really like
it's
that.
very true. Well, a good friend of mine at Champagne House, and they were struggling to sell. Very bad problem. They had a guy come in and he said, well, look, let's double the price. Exactly that. And I thought, he's mad. How can, if you're not selling them? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And now they're in Michelin-star restaurants in the USA. And I thought, but when I heard of it initially, I thought, that's crazy. If they're not selling at this price, they're not going to blimmin' well sell it. But it works.
But it's a bit like, I remember when they invented, because obviously my dad was a Scotch drinker, he was from Scotland, and he always used to say, any blended whiskey is as good as any other. There's no point in paying extra for a blended whiskey because it's not, the malt whiskey fine, but anything blended. And then when I was living in America, they invented Johnny Walker Blue, which didn't really exist. There was Johnny Walker Red,
black,
and then there was Black, which famously, when I was in India, a guy in the Indian Defence Civil Service Department gave away the plans for the new Russian tank to the Americans for a case of Johnny Walker Black.
Really?
Because that was the currency. Because it was so hard to get. But Johnny Walker Blue was invented as a sort of slightly less expensive than Black. But so it was $130 a bottle or something. And it started selling like hotcakes because the Americans were like, oh man, this is great, and it wasn't any different from the red. It just had a blue colour.
Are you keen on whiskey? Do you drink?
I was in a restaurant yesterday and we had loads of wine, and then I thought, we thought, should we have a little tincture at the end? And so a couple of the guys had a whiskey.
Was that with the cigars that you had?
Yeah. And I had a cigar and I had a glass of Woodford Reserve, which is the
Woodford
American.
Reserve, the flat bottle, like the flat one.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, it is nice. That.
And I'm not. It's a bit like rum for me. I can only drink it in Scotland.
Yeah.
If I'm in Scotland, I'll have a Scotch, but not anywhere else.
I have a confession. I hate it. I can't stand
I
it.
like peaty style. I like peaty style.
And there have been. I mean, when I start drinking it, you can enjoy it, and you get into it, and it's quite Moorish, and it gives you a different high to normal alcohol.
Yeah.
It's quite strange.
You don't really drink it quick, do you? You drink it slowly.
Quite strange, but I don't. I do scratch my head and think, how did anyone start drinking this stuff? And in Orkney, we've got Scapa and Highland Park,
of course.
And I understand that a lot of people love it. I just never really taken to it. In fact, spirits generally I don't. I've started to drink a little bit of rum.
Have you?
Yeah.
See, again, I can only really drink that if I'm in
just with a bit of ice.
Caribbean.
Bit of ice, nothing else. Just
really?
a bit of ice, on its own. Yeah.
That's what I'd do, But I think that has to be the right moment. Sometimes I get the whiskey out when it's just the right moment. You just feel like it, but it's not an everyday kind of choice. Whereas wine is.
Is it dark rum
easier.
you drink or light rum?
I don't know. I bought it. I was given it in Mauritius recently. It was just very nice. I mean, I had a few bottles.
Is it light though? Is it clear? Or
Yeah,
is it dark?
it's dark.
It's dark.
Yeah, it's got a colour. Yeah. And another one had a little bit of vanilla in it. Very nice. I mean, very. Just
they do. One of the times I went to Puerto Rico when I lived in the States, they do the Bacardi factories in Puerto Rico, and they do, and you can't really get it in a lot of places. They do a mid, so it's like not dark, it's not white, it's sort of middle, sort of amber colour. And it's fantastic.
Well, that's to be
really
honest, this
good.
Mauritian rum was like that.
Oh, look, we got some Fizz.
Santorban.
We have got some Fizz. We're going on from here to Italy and Prosecco. So Prosecco Rosé, it's relatively new. They weren't allowed to really have a Rosé Prosecco until about, I think, 2022.
And why was that?
I don't know. I think it's just because I think they were fixed on the grapes that they used, which were all white grapes.
Very cold temperatures today, Oliver. You've managed to keep it chilled well, haven't you?
Yeah,
very good.
And so it adds the Pinot Noir grape to it. So hence we got the black skin,
nice
the dark
bottle.
skin to give the colour. So it's a Veneto region of northern Italy. So if you go like into Venice and you go north,
Millesimato.
Thank you, Oliver.
There you go.
It's about £16, and different places have it online. One place is Cockburns of Leith, and they've got it at £16. So obviously Italian, 2024. Around about £16. Big winery, they make about 4.5 million.
Isn't it?
4.5 million they make every year bottles of wine. £16 for a Prosecco could be a little bit it would take someone back and go, goodness me, I can get this at £6 or £7, but this is the rosé. And Villa Sandi is one of the better producers of rosé here.
I like that. That's good.
I have been. I must say, again, I didn't used to drink champagne. I've been converted over the last sort of 15 years to it, and now I do drink it.
Yeah,
I think you're in the right place here.
There are times,
you're in the right place.
There are times when there's nothing else. I've probably said this many times on this show, but my father used to say, best time to drink champagne is in the morning. So you've come to the right place. Although it's just past the Yardarm, actually.
And I think we're safe this evening.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But champagne breakfast, I used to do that. When I worked in Fleet Street, we didn't do a lot, but occasionally, if we had a big meeting to go to first thing, we'd meet in the pub. There was a pub called The Cock, funnily enough, in just by Smithfield Market, because it was by Smithfield, so it was open, really early. And you go in there about 8 o'clock in the morning and have bacon and eggs and a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
We usually have like the scrambled egg with the salmon round it. Can't quite remember what that dish is called, but with champagne in the morning, that's very, very good. Yes, I don't
the Savoy
disagree.
used to do it as well.
Yeah.
You could get,
the London clubs, when Brexit happened, Mike, because I think a winery produced a Brexit champagne in a pint.
Oh yeah,
as a pint measure. And I was told, a friend of mine told me that I don't know which club, it wasn't my club, I don't think, but the clubs in London in the 30s used to serve champagne by the pint.
Really?
Yeah.
What, so you'd have a pint
of champagne, in a tankard. You used to serve it like that, which sounds very civilised.
Winston Churchill used to have a pint bottle specifically made by Paul Roger for him. So he'd never have this full size. He'd have a pint of champagne every day.
Right.
But I didn't know you can have it in a pint. That's some challenge.
You would, you'd think it would get warm, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it depends. If you sat next to Marilyn, it wouldn't get warm.
With Marilyn, easy, no problems. You never lined up. I once went to a U2 concert at the O2, and and the bar was mobbed, and so I thought, I'm not going there. I'm not going to queue up. Went to the champagne bar, and it was during the show, so. I said, right, bottle of that, and then they went, you can't take it into the arena. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, what can I do? And they went, well, you can put it into these glasses, and they just handed me 2 pint plastic, glasses.
Goodness.
And so I just literally poured the bottle into two halves, took it in, and we got absolutely smashed.
On that, yeah. But the problem is it takes the charm away. Can you imagine the pint glasses? Well, even if you have it in the
Well, you
mug.
sort of want a flute, don't you?
I think
You
so, yeah,
do, to
and
a
it does
degree.
keep it nice and fresh and cold. I've got
Yeah.
a mate who's was born in Canada. He was adopted and born in Canada. He goes to Canada occasionally, and he gets the Air France flight.
Oh, yeah.
And on Air France you get champagne.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a terrible error initially. The champagne came round. He says, "Oh, fizzy wine," and the steward says, "Fizzy wine? This is champagne." You know.
Yeah, how
and then
dare
he,
you.
and then he tried to persuade him that it was so good by plying with more than the normal passenger would get. So it was quite a good ploy.
Yeah.
Calling it fizzy wine.
Yeah, fizzy wine, absolutely. But then you can charge fizzy wine prices.
Fizzy
so
wine
it's only
yeah.
£3.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because Cremant and the other regions next to it produce absolutely
They-
phenomenal knockout.
They do, and it's made in the same way as champagne.
Yeah.
It's just in a different area and much cheaper. So
Much
you're
cheaper,
getting the
yeah.
same kind of style of wine, but
Yeah.
just in a different region.
Yeah.
And then you get Spumante or English sparkling and all bubbles from around the world. But obviously, everybody knows champagne, and the biggest brands are champagne brands, and Moet Chandon, Veuve Clicquot, and these are household names. Whereas if I ask anybody to name a Prosecco label, they'll be going, "Oh, wait a minute,
Wouldn't know about it. Yeah.
I know there's a yellow one or there's a black, but
Yeah.
with champagne, name one, everybody can say, well, Bollinger. Or,
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so that's where they've done very well, the French.
So you say this is Pinot grape.
This is Pinot Noir grape
This is
in with
lovely, by the way.
Glera.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Glera,
so tell me, because
Yeah.
I'm going to again say the wrong thing. I'm not able to say it. So I'm a red wine drinker,
Yeah.
almost exclusively, and I've said white wine isn't wine to me.
Yeah.
Like red wine is wine, and white wine's something completely different. I
Right.
don't really bother with it very much.
Yeah.
But Pinot particularly is like, you know.
Do you not say have a glass of it in the summer or something?
Yeah, no,
like
I
a
do.
chilled
I can be
Chablis or
persuaded to.
something
No,
like
and
that?
it's very good. And you know, like some of the stuff that my wife's Australian, but she's keen on Kiwi whites.
Wine.
And she some really knockout, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive, but
No.
very, very good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I can be persuaded, but I just don't. I'm you know, I narrow everything down just to red and particular countries. You know, Portugal and Chile particularly. And just it's such a big subject.
Yeah.
And I know
heavier style. Do you like a heavier style red, a bit more full body, or do you like lighter style?
I'm after because the northern Dows and things in Portugal are too tannic for me. So I want everything. So I want quite alcoholic, quite strong, but I want a smooth
Silky,
and body,
so
but not
too
tannic.
much. Not too much tannin.
No.
So you're probably looking for something that's either, say, Merlot. But actually, what you'd be better having something that's aged in a bottle for about 5 or 6 up to 10 years.
Yeah.
It'd be very mellow, and you won't have the tannins as much. You'd have the silky texture.
Silk and strength. So in Portugal, it's the Sesimbra and Alentejo Reds are perfect. They're absolutely.
What was that stuff Donald brought down? Was it Dura?
I think it was.
Dura?
I think, and I can't remember what we brought in. Was it last week? We did the
Donald
Reds.
McLeod, our partner, who
He brought a very
putting on
nice
the
red,
live show
didn't he?
with us next
In my
month.
kitchen, the wife drank it.
Did she?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You snooze, you lose.
And it was, and he goes to Portugal every year because he goes to a place called Pine Cliffs. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
It's near Albufeira,
Yeah.
where I've been as well.
I walked through there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a nice golf course, and he goes to a vineyard because he drives. He takes the car to, I think, Santander or somewhere, and drives down. And he stops on the way back at this vineyard where he buys like a couple of cases of this really lovely wine.
Yeah.
And it is, it's quite expensive, but it's beautiful.
But if it's
exactly as you've
expensive in
described it.
Portugal, I mean, because wine's virtually free. I mean, you know, and the cheap fruity wines that you can get for €2 or €3, pretty decent, you know, to have with a meal. But yeah, no, Touriga Nacional is their grape, their survivor grape that in the blight that no one else has got, and it's unique. And so, no, I'm keen on that.
I'm drinking this because I love it. I think it's really nice. Yeah, it was funny when you were talking about the marks, the different champagnes that people would know.
Yeah.
Prosecco doesn't really have that. You don't.
It doesn't have.
You know, if you ask me to name, apart from that one that you brought in,
Yeah.
Which I keep now seeing everywhere I go, in Waitrose in particular.
Yeah.
Which but what's it called?
Legiosa.
Yeah,
It's
Joyosa,
the same
that's it,
company
with
of
a
these.
G.
It's their supermarket brand. This is the high level
But that's
brand.
the only brand I kind of recognise,
Yeah.
because normally speaking, Prosecco, you don't think of it as a branded.
No,
Sort of
no,
bottle.
it's a yeah.
You just go, oh, a bottle of Prosecco.
It's a type, not a token, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Carver.
Whereas with exactly. And whereas with but that's the genius of the French, having made this thing into something that's not only special, and then the brands are special. So
And they've attached it
up goes the price.
to luxurious kind of celebrities or
Yeah,
sporting events, Formula
Yes.
One. James Bond, obviously, James Bond.
But it says so much. Champagne itself, I mean, it's like accusing someone of being a champagne socialist. It has other connotations.
It does.
Peter Hitchens, he's very funny when he's so gloomy, a lot of his prognostications. But he has said, I'm probably misquoting it, but he has said, it's a disaster, but between doom and despair, we can drink some champagne on the way down.
Yeah. Right.
And you can sort of see that. You couldn't say that about anything else, could you? It wouldn't
and
have
they
the
had
ring.
champagne on the Titanic.
All
that
that
kind of thing. And whenever you have an occasion, you want champagne.
But I think most people would say champagne. If they saw this, they say, let's open the champagne. If the atmosphere is right, I never say anything. But to some people, I just say, just to let you know, it's Prosecco.
Yeah.
But they say, it's champagne. Okay, well, don't worry.
Yeah, no.
But some people say, what do you mean? It's
no, I'm like you. I couldn't let that go.
Yeah, I'll just mention it. If they want to learn, I'll let them know. I say this is from Italy. If not, it's just open the champagne. Let's have a drink, and I understand that. So we've done Italy. Are we okay with the volume? But we're going to leave them here.
I think those first two are absolutely spectacular.
The Prosecco is fantastic.
You're going to be hard pressed for a third.
What price was that again?
Yes. That was £16, Pooch. That was £16. That's Cockburns of Leith, and the URL I think we'll put on the video for people to see.
Is it not Coburn's?
Yeah. It probably is Cockburn, isn't it? Yeah. And it's Leith, isn't it? You got to have your tea.
Leith.
It's Cockburn. It's C-O-C-K.
Yeah, it's pronounced Cockburn.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, but is it pronounced Coburn?
Oh, I didn't realise
because they
that.
do a port as well.
They do, yeah.
They do, yeah.
I think it's Coburn's.
Yeah, no, there is
port,
Coburn's
Didn't
port.
know that. I'm learning as well. Thank you.
I mean, I may be wrong.
No, I don't know. Well, I've got it as that. So
I reckon
anyway.
you're right.
Yeah.
So the next place we're going to
Which has got nothing to do with co-conspiracies, by the way. No, sorry to bring Keir Starmer up again.
Who's the best person, politician to go for a drink with, William?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good one.
That is a good question.
The thing is, actually, perhaps people do realise, but politics is very, very drinky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, like I can't when you're talking things, we do the morning thing, and because I live in Northumberland, I come down, and I always work on in the evening, meet someone, have a meal, and so the number of interviews that I've done with you, I'm not quite tip top.
What, because you're a bit hungover?
It's what can you do? I mean, because it's in the morning.
Well, no, it's
so
very much.
If I'm out the previous night, and it's and politics is very drinky, and it's very smoke. A lot of people smoke.
Yeah.
As well, I'm an ex-smoker, and after enough booze, I will take cigarettes off people.
Well, that was me yesterday, because I normally don't smoke. I used to smoke till about 7 or 8 years ago, and now I occasionally have a cigar. But only if I'm in a place where I wouldn't go out and find one, No. But I was in Boisdale, where they've got a humidor and everything, and you actually go there, and it's a bit of an experience, and you pick one out, and they cut it for you. And it's lovely.
It's lovely, yeah.
But I only ever do that when I'm quite pissed, basically. And I always just have one, because the trouble is, being an old cigarette smoker, you kind of go, I'll just take 3 and smoke them one after the other. But no, you're right. I mean, the thing is that it's the hazard of the job, though.
Journalism, politics.
Journalism, politics, a lot of the late night sort of, sessions in Parliament, a lot of this is why the bars are open in the House of Commons quite late on. As long as there's business going on, the bars are open.
There is a book on drinking. I mean, it's not like in political history, the big examples of people like George Brown, who was in the 60s, was a Labour Party politician, and was probably the most popular Labour politician in the 60s. Very, very heavy drinker. And if you Google it, you'll see pictures of George Brown.
He's sort of in the gutter, right?
In the gutter, bless him. He did actually join the SDP. He was Foreign Secretary for a while. And there's lots of funny stories about him.
That was something, actually, we were talking about earlier, just before you were in, I think. The SDP famously was, Shirley Williams, the Gang of Four, and all of that. And the SDP now, with you, is nothing really like that. Is there not a danger that you're kind of mixing the brand up a bit?
Not really. I mean, I sort of lived there. I was an active member in the 80s. My father was a founder member. And we do... It's true that life's moved on. I mean, the people that expect us to be just like it was in 1981 are not...
Because it's pretty left-wing.
But I would say on the economics, I'd say on what the state should do, we're just as left-wing as we ever were. I mean, I say, I want British Rail from Caithness to Cornwall. Yeah. I want the state to build nuclear power, like they used to. I want the CGB back. I want the state to build some houses so kids can start families. Right. And all the rest of it. So I don't want a big welfare bill. And I'm massively in favour of private enterprise. No private enterprise, no tax, no state. But what's happened is that we've got state ineptitude now.
Yeah.
The state can't even do anything.
Yeah.
And I want to enact a strong
And
one.
it's worse than that, because whatever they take over, they ruin.
They ruin, yeah. But I don't see why on grid energy we can't revive it if we want to. But that's a separate thing. But broadly, social market and electoral reform is the same. But we've moved on. The big one was Euroscepticism, because Shirley and Roy particularly were massive Eurosceptics, Euro enthusiasts.
Yes.
And Owen became slightly Eurosceptic, and then by the late 80s, his SDP was quite Eurosceptic, and then he became a full Brexit supporter. So we've just moved with him on that. But quiz question: name the foreign secretaries that joined the SDP, and it's Jenkins, Owen, and George Brown. People always forget about George Brown.
I didn't know George Brown.
No, George Brown, he didn't. He was sort of past his prime there, but he's famous. But there is a book on parliamentary drinking, and one of the funniest things in the book is that they had the staff at Parliament in the bars in the 70s had strikes.
Yeah.
And there was a plea for all these heavy drinkers, these parliamentarians, were saying they must return the strike. And they said, why? Well, they said, it's inhumane. It's inhumane for them to close the
not be able
bar.
to get a drink.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny though, because the world has changed so much that drinking is now sort of frowned upon. You read stories all the time now about how there's quite a lot of young people who don't drink at all.
They don't, that's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you find that?
And so a lot of pubs are now sort of suffering as a result of that.
Yeah.
A lot of pubs, certainly in London, close quite early on Thursday's the busy night, but say on a Friday night.
Well, we spoke with Anna on that, didn't we?
We'll close at sort of 9 o'clock at night, and because there's no business, people have gone home.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, I was listening again. I always have to reference Times Radio because it's about the only thing that's on when I'm in the car. They were saying, is it the end of the long lunch? The long lunch has kind of gone the way of all flesh. When I was in newspapers back in, I guess, the 90s and the early part of this century, we used to go out. I used to work for the Express, and the Oxo Tower was nearby. And we wouldn't even go to eat. We'd just go and have 3 bottles of wine, me and the news editor, between us.
My wife calls that, in Australia, it's called a schooner burger.
Yeah.
You've been out for lunch? Yeah, I had a schooner burger.
But the thing is, we'd go back, we'd be half cut. The paper was great because you'd do things that you might not have done when you were sober.
Yeah.
And we sold a lot more papers.
Do you find that there's a lot of creative people find that it sort of oils the works?
It does.
If you've got to write something, because everyone's like a morning person or an evening. I'm an evening person, and if I've got to do some journalism. You can't squeeze the words out. It's like when it writes itself, it's easy.
Yeah, I agree with
and quite often, if it's a serious topic or whatever, a glass of decent Alentejo red, put my feet up and just go at it. And it's sort of, it's very good late at night.
I would say that. I think it depends how you react. I'd have a glass of wine, it just relaxes you down, and then things start to flow. So writing, when you want to write, you get writer's block, or all of a sudden you just write. And I think it's just nice. You know not to overindulge too much, and it depends. Like me, I like to have a drink in the afternoon. By evening time, I put a cup of tea.
I can do it any time.
Yeah,
it's like, for me, it's a bit like broadcasting. It's just talking. For me, writing is exactly the same.
Yeah.
I could write anything any time. You want me to write 1,000 words now for the telegraph?
But that's like songwriters.
Expertise.
Like people say that, like the Springsteen just does it. There's another.
I'd sometimes, if I got asked, when I used to get commissioned by the Telegraph, and I'd be on my way home on the train, and I'd just start writing on the phone, and by the time I got to my house, I'd already written half of it.
Yeah.
And you sort of top and tail it and send it.
I'm going to give this wine a plug.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's England, and it's Bolney Estate Cuvée Rosé
I've seen this before, I think,
Bolney,
Shall I hold it up to the old camera?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that Pooch gets a look at it.
It is £35.99 from
All right.
House of Town
Right in
End
front of your face,
online.
though, mate.
Sorry.
That's it, mate. Yeah.
It's
Good stuff.
Pinot Noir, Pinot
nice,
Meunier,
that.
so champagne
It's also
blend.
lovely.
It's not bad.
I
It's
think
a
you may
different
have
style.
you pulled it out of the hat today.
Well, this is really good wine. We like this wine, so I think
How much?
It's
More expensive.
£35.99. It's
the most, this
£35.99.
backs my theory up. This
Yeah,
is the most expensive yet.
And it is, and
English.
the Prosecco was as good.
Yeah.
In its
They're all
own way, it was
brilliant.
different, but
They're
it was,
all
it was
good.
as good,
Yeah.
but it is more expensive.
Yeah, I agree. It is expensive. It's West Sussex, so we're looking at north of Brighton area.
Like Sussex Downs.
Hayward's Heath.
Hayward's Heath, yeah.
Hayward's
I know
Heath.
it well.
House
Just
of
by
Town
Gatwick
End
Airport.
online have that. Yes, just below, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Chegosians.
Chegosians love it, yeah. I don't know if they drink the Chagosians, do they?
They do.
Do they? Yeah. Actually, you know a bit about Chagos, don't you?
I do,
you
yeah.
said you were in Mauritius.
I was in
what were
Mauritius,
you doing
yes.
in Mauritius?
A family member has moved there.
Okay.
And is working there in the drinks industry, actually. And I hadn't been, it's not a place, it's so far away. You wouldn't like, I know some people like the Seychelles and these places, but I have lots of other places to go to. And I wouldn't have gone but for my family member going there. And it was incredible. I'm a massive, just one trip.
It's a big holiday destination for South Africans, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was so close and you just go across.
Yeah.
But it's a volcanic island. It's not very big. It's about 60 miles north-south and about 40 east-west. It's probably overpopulated. It's about 1.2 million people there, but it doesn't feel busy. And you get the drama of these volcanic outcrops. Great, you know, the Indian Ocean's very warm. The lights
nice
good.
beaches and all that?
Lovely beaches. We went down to Swiak and we were staying in Flick on Flack, this place. And went down to this
name.
Yeah,
Flick on Flack.
Flick on Flack.
Say that when you've had a few.
And because they all speak French, it's an interesting mix. Culturally, they're French. Although the Brits had it, they didn't do very much with it. So
Was it owned by the French? Is it like
it was
French
the French
colony?
sort of post.
It wasn't sold by
Waterloo.
Starmer's grandfather, was it?
No. Well, that's
Not
the
sold,
ridiculous
given
thing about
away.
it.
Given
No,
away.
I mean, I don't want to get too political, but it's an absurdity that you lose Chagos as a result of that. I mean, the Treaty of Paris, it's been British for a long time.
Yeah.
They got their independence, but it's a lovely, lovely place. And you know, you've got all these tea plantations, so I'm going to probably go back in July.
A friend of mine went there on holiday and told me, and this was way back probably in the 80s, and she said she and her boyfriend went, and they went horse racing. There was a lot of horse racing apparently.
There is
and they're quite into their gambling.
A derby, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And
there's a racetrack and all of that, and it's kind of, it's a sort of poor man's Seychelles, it was described to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But my accountant's actually from there, and the one thing he said to me was, he said, don't ever give anyone from Mauritius any money.
Why?
Because they'll just, waste it.
Right, they'll spend it.
And he also said, particularly the government, is the most corrupt government in the history of governments.
Well, that's saying something.
And that is saying something.
But you give money to your accountant, Mike.
Eh?
But you give your money to your accountant.
No, I just tell him what I've done with it.
How hypocritical of you.
Although I do pay him something, yeah, that's true.
Right. Well,
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, I was floored by argument.
Retake.
But I'm not going to comment on that. But the beaches and the place is very good. We went down to this place, as I say, Swiak, and I sent a little photo of this deserted beach, and I sent it to a mate. And he said, "Surely that's AI," because it was so perfect, it was so beautiful. No, it's not real. Real.
This is when you wonder whether we're all doing the wrong thing, and we're all sitting here in South London talking about these incredible kind of idyllic paradise islands.
Yeah.
We should probably be living there, shouldn't we?
Well, anyway, it's worked out. So I'll go back.
Well, you're
see how
lucky
it
because you've
goes.
got somebody to go
Yeah,
visit.
no, and Australia.
You
I
know.
wish Australia wasn't so far because the other two are in
Well,
Australia.
Pooch used to live in Australia, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
How long did you live there for?
3 years.
3 years.
Whereabouts, Pooch?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, mate. He even
very
says
fine.
it like a local.
Melbourne, mate.
Melbourne, mate.
That's where 2 out of 3 of my boys live.
4 seasons in one day.
They live.
Richmond and up in Ivanhoe.
I know the Corner Hotel in Richmond. See many bands there.
There you go.
Nice. Wow.
Yes, I know it actually.
Nice.
I know it. Yeah.
Lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, nice lifestyle.
And Christopher used to live in France.
Yeah, we used to live in France and Spain. Yeah, we used to. So not quite as far away as some of you guys
the
have
thing
lived.
is, it's not. It's
And I used to live in America,
everyone,
so
Yeah.
I think you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah,
It's, as part of your kind of
It's a
growing up
very
process.
good
you
thing
need
to
live
have
somewhere else.
experience, but you always do find yourself being pulled back to England. It has that pull. If even
Yeah, but
today,
will it always have it though?
Well,
I
it's
think-
changed
I
a
think-
lot.
I think
it's
the-
changed awfully.
I think you can go around the whole world, but I still think that the British hinterlands. I'm worried about the cities. We talk about it a lot on the show.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the cities. Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds,
Yeah.
and London, and so on. I'm worried about them.
I agree.
But the really top quality English, Scottish, Welsh hinterland.
Yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Is difficult to beat. There's a pub. There's a pub just up from us called the Rat, and Michael. I think it was voted the best
Northumberland.
pub. In Northumberland,
Yeah.
yeah. Michael Palin went there. He said this is the best pub in England, and it sort of is. I mean, on you can go up there on a Friday night in the summer. When it starts, and you see the Tyne sort of just snaking through to Corbridge, between Corbridge and Hexham, and you can go and get a perfect pint of first and last quality
Kind of.
beer,
Yeah.
beautiful beer, and you're in there. What's not to love? And I don't think
Quintessentially
you can
English,
give me
kind of.
Australia. Yeah, no, I love Australia. I love Australia. I love Australians, and I love the whole thing, and it's got a lot going for it. But the British hinterlands particularly have a huge, and I'm a massive fan of Orkney. I think Orkney particularly in the summer, it's harsh in the winter. I mean, I go up and send. I watch Bergman films and send ridiculously bleak clips back to Kim and say, we're loving it up here, watching Winterlight or Wild Strawberries.
Well, it's like that show with Shetland, wasn't it? But it's similar to that.
Very dark.
Everything's a bit dark, and there's a lot of weirdos.
But in the summer, it's the opposite. It's very light.
Yeah.
And you've got this, 70-island archipelago. What's not to love? And so I'm honestly,
Scotland's a fantastic country. I mean, I miss Scotland actually.
It's cheap.
When I lived
it's
there.
a big
Property's
country.
cheap,
It's
land's
a
cheap.
big country, but it's also really easy to get around. We used to live in Glasgow initially, and on a Saturday you'd just get in the car, drive up sort of north of Loch Lomond. You'd be out into Loch Lomond in half an hour.
Yeah.
Unlike London, where it's half an hour to get down.
And you get space instantly.
Yeah, and you're suddenly on this road, and then you're up to Glencoe.
Yeah.
And I remember we went on a little tour, ended up in a place called Torridon.
Which side are you lot on? Well, my mum is a McDonald. We're not too keen on the Camels.
No, we're on that same side as you.
Decent.
My father said you can't trust a Campbell.
Yeah.
Never trust a Campbell because of Culloden. Because the Campbells basically sold
Well, I know
out,
it's not right.
sold out the Scottish to the English.
We were sort of brought up with that. Yeah.
No, I was.
Being McDonald's.
I was.
Yeah.
I'll just about get Glenn Campbell songs.
Yeah.
But,
Alistair Campbell.
Because he's American.
But Alistair Campbell.
Definitely.
No, I'm with you on that.
Total traitor. And I've said it to him. I said, I know you lot. I said, you're a bunch of traitors.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, whilst we're reminiscing, I was going to do the question of the week.
Oh, yeah.
We was on the train the other day and we had a really charming conversation with people about toys when we were younger.
Oh, yeah.
So when we was younger, what toys were we into? So I think you was in 60s and 70s as a child.
70s, yeah.
What was it back then?
Well,
Have interest.
A lot of board games we had.
games,
So obviously Monopoly, but I used to have a game called Mousetrap.
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap was the greatest game ever.
MB games type thing.
Because it had this incredible kind of really complicated
confusion,
plastic sort of frame that you had to put around, and you had to get the net to fall down from the top. Remember?
Mechanical.
Yeah, it was like it was great, and also Hot Wheels I had as well.
Oh, Hot Wheels. Were they there?
No, not Scale Electric. I never liked Scale Electric. I never got on with that. But Hot Wheels were where we could buy the red track, which you could make into sort of double loops and all that. And I had a garage where you could put the cars in, and you could have had a lift that went up, and that was good.
What about football? I mean, I was big on football.
I was a
stickers
big
at
football
school.
player. I
But
played
football stickers. Did they have football stickers about Panini? Was it Panini?
Yeah, of course.
It was before Panini, I think.
Was
But
there
I'll tell you what
something
we
else?
used to collect was during the World Cups. There would be coins.
The coins, I think we said
in
before,
the
didn't
petrol
we?
stations. So you go to
Garage.
Esso,
Yeah.
you go to
Yeah.
Esso, and you get a coin with like Bobby Moore's head on it or something.
Yeah.
That's it,
You know. And so we did that. So I had Sabutio as well, but I never really.
Sabutio, yeah.
I never got on too well with Sabutio
Sabutio.
because I could never get the bloody pitch flat enough. Because we lived in a flat in London, right? And so I was always having to put it out somewhere like in the hallway. But my dad and I used to play football in the hallway.
Did you?
And my mother used to go mad because there was the front door there.
I can imagine.
And there was about from here to the wall.
Bang, kicking
and
the
we'd
ball.
be literally kicking
trying to
the
score
ball.
a goal past.
I'd be wrestling
not
with
one
him.
of the level balls, surely not. Like
No,
ball.
but it was a probably quite a hard, proper sized ball. And there was a great big hole in the wall at the other end.
Who did
Every
that?
now and again, my dad would sort of fill it with plaster,
Right.
and we'd just empty it.
Nice
again.
memories,
It was great. It was
Nice
just
memories.
For us, it was soldiers. It was toy soldiers.
yeah,
it was just
soldiers.
because I think I was born in '65, which when you think about it back then, 20 years after the Second World War finished, and so you were in so it was war films and little plastic.
You used to get like a big bag of 100
Yeah,
soldiers
100,
for a pound or
and
something,
the British commandos against the Americans and the Japanese and the
Did you
Germans.
get
So we knew.
little things that would fire like matchstick or something?
Yeah, you
and
did.
Yeah.
All sorts of that, and also
like cannons, right?
Also air support. You see, had Stukas and Spitfires and all sorts of things. And we, my grandfather ran a nursery in Durham, a garden nursery. So we had a lot of space, and we used to go and build sandpit in places.
Yes.
And my cousins used to come up, and we used to pair up. And do you remember the soda streams?
Yeah.
Remember the little
the canister,
gas?
canisters.
Well, that was a bomb. Perfect. So he used to just lob. He had one chance to smash his gun emplacement.
Brilliant.
And that was for us. That was what it was. Really, it was all.
It was much more interesting, really, wasn't it? In those
Well, that's
days?
what the conversation was. They were talking about things I even forgot. Remember when you used to get like a sheet of paper with all the planets on or dinosaurs, and you used to rub them off with a coin and put them on, and all the innocent
Transfers
things.
and all that,
And I was saying like Star Wars figures and the parachute. You used to get the soldier on the parachute, you chuck it out the window.
that was
and it
Action
go
Man as
down.
well.
Action Man.
Yeah,
Action
I
Man.
I was never
There
really
was so
that into
much.
Action Man. I got one eventually, I think when I was about 11. And the only reason I remember it is it was a year that my sister declared. I shouldn't probably say this because you're not ever allowed to say this on
We're better not then.
It was a question about Father Christmas, shall we say?
Right.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
And you blew it, do you?
Well, no, she did.
Oh,
She
right.
knew.
And I was younger.
Yeah.
And she showed me where all the toys were
Yeah.
Wow.
before Christmas. I was like, I was quite
My
crestfallen.
little sister was quite scared of Father Christmas, quite rationally, because you told this child that this bloke's going to break it. This bloke's going to break into
And
the
give you
house,
some
but it'll be
presents and
okay.
sweets.
It'll be
It's all right,
okay.
just leave you
This
some presents.
stranger, and he can fly, and he's a bit weird, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And he's bloody quick.
Yeah.
I didn't show you when you came over, did I show you my barn? This is my toys in there.
No, I mean, I saw the barn, but I didn't
I
look
had this
inside.
when I was a kid.
So is that still running in your...
Yeah, I've had that since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
You can't beat that.
And how old is that
is
stuff
amazing.
then?
Over 40 years.
Since you... Oh, really? So it's the original, like...
So I just spy a date.
Because we had
That is incredible.
a Hornby train set.
Yeah.
And do you know what happened to it? I gave it to my son because somehow my dad had kept it and he brought it, and we moved to Wiltshire and he brought it down. And we said, in those days we had a conservatory, and so he went to the conservatory and he took it all out. And next time I looked, he'd literally taken all of the steel out of the tracks and ruined it. And I'm like, he's had it 5 minutes,
Just
he's
to destroy
completely
it.
destroyed it.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Devastating.
awful. Yeah. Terrible. Yeah.
Our glasses are empty. We're going to try another wine. Now, we're going to attempt to
What is that?
disgorge the wine here.
That
So
looks-
it's got the yeast sediment still in there, so we need to release that out. And we've got the ice bucket here, but we need to do it away from all of this
So
gear
what
here.
is, so explain what that is.
On the table.
It's fine on the
Explain
table.
what that is.
Okay. Yeah, so here the
It's like an
bottom-
instrument of
you'll
torture.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
will,
bit
yeah,
of drama, yeah.
or walnut type of thing. Yeah. So what this
Give
will
it to
do
Montgomery.
is we'll put the bottle in here,
Right.
and we
Oh, so you put it upside down.
like that, but it needs to be in here, otherwise it'll spray everywhere.
Right.
Right.
So
Okay.
This is proper science.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
so we're trying this. Is it
Am
on
I far
camera?
enough away?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to
Am I
film
right?
this.
I
Can
don't
I
know,
film
sir.
it, Pooch?
Well, I'm going to stand up
I'm going
and
to film
observe
it.
it from
He's
over
gonna
here.
panic.
Yeah, well done.
So I'm just going to give it a go. If it works, gentlemen.
Okay.
It's all a bit of fun. I just want to make sure it's properly in.
Yeah, that's a big...
Tell us what you're doing.
Big
you're doing
moment.
it,
Yeah.
And why you...
It's just disgorge the wine, so it is to take the sediment, the yeast sediment, out of the traditional method wine. So,
Right.
Are you
which
taking
is
the
cooked.
cork out or not?
Yeah, no, it
Not yet.
gets done underwater.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
So
do
you
it like
turn it.
this, and normally it will go pop like that.
Whoa.
Wow.
There we go.
So that's quite clever, that.
So that's what they usually do when they're in the winery, these days. When they twist the bottles in the racks, riddling, they twist it so it goes vertical. That puts all the yeast sediments at the bottom. Then they extract that, so that means that the wine is clear inside.
Right.
Otherwise, it'd be cloudy. This is going to be cloudy because we took it on the train and it bumps around a little bit.
Right.
So
you have-
the sediments at the top.
Sit down, guys. I'm cutting it.
Sorry,
By the way.
sorry.
So the sediments at the top.
Yeah,
So when you open it, it goes in there.
It does, but obviously because we've been on the train coming down here,
Yeah.
it's not
You rattled it
been
around a
relaxed.
bit, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this one would be cloudy, but
Right.
normally it won't be because all the sediment, 24 hours usually is enough,
Okay.
would go down to the bottom. So when I would have done that, all of the dirty sediment would have gone in here,
Okay. Yeah.
and you would have had clear wine. But nonetheless, we've got sediment in here.
So where is this from?
So this is Slovenia. This is Puro Rosa Movia 2013, 100% Pinot Noir.
Quite a nice
But we
taste,
have
actually.
got the yeast in there, so we're going to have a little bit more kind of bready style.
It's not a bad taste.
3.5 years in the bottle, so it's ancestral style. And it's around about £30 where you can find it. I've got Decantalo UK have it. Limited edition of 2,500 bottles. And it's right on the western side of Slovenia, about 10-minute walk to the Italian border.
Okay.
So we give it a try.
Very nice. Bottle.
2,500 bottles.
Oh, sorry.
Limited edition, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
still quite a small number, though, isn't it?
100% Pinot Noir.
Right.
Do you know, it's funny. It tastes really nice, but because it's cloudy, it kind of puts you off slightly. I know it wouldn't normally be cloudy. I know you explained that. But
No, but some people, you can have these kind of pet nat style wines, so they have still the yeast in there. They don't
Right.
take that yeast out. What the beautiful thing of that is if you have 7 glasses of wine from that bottle, every wine will taste different. Especially when you start mixing the
really?
cloudiness.
Okay.
So you go from a very dry style, probably, to a very...
That's quite dry.
That's dry to a degree,
yeah.
but the aftertaste is probably going to be like a biscuit, a shortbread biscuit in the back of the palate, because you've got the yeast in there.
Yeah.
So...
I must say, it's not my favourite of the.
Well, the first 3 were so good.
Very good, yeah.
I think that's why.
But I wanted to try something different.
No, but the interesting thing that we do here is that if you were not given anything else and you were just given a glass of that, you go, "Oh, this is quite nice." But because you've had those 3,
and also, it's like one of those wines that the first time you taste it is one thing, and then it just improves gradually. There are lots of drinks like that. And that's certainly one of those. Yeah.
No, because your palate has
unusual
been treated differently by all the others, and that's the thing that I find interesting.
This is quite smooth to a degree. I find it quite smooth.
I think it's a lovely taste. I just don't like the way it looks.
Yeah,
I think that puts you off.
That's fine.
No, it's like the, but it's a bit like, I don't know. It's sort of, it would be the wine equivalent of the beer, Weiss beer and things like that.
Yes.
Or this obsession now in craft ale
Not the fruit
production.
stuff.
That's not beer.
I hate that.
So I have to be strict about this. That's not beer.
When they go, this is nice. We used to do a thing with.
It's got pineapple in it.
I used to get like Beer
then.
52, who used to do we used to sponsor my podcast years ago, and they would send you these free samples. It was usually in a can, sometimes a bottle. But things like grapefruit beer. No, I don't want bloody grapefruit beer.
No, that's not.
I don't want to taste grapefruit in my beer.
I don't like grapefruit anyway.
I like grapefruit juice. I mean, but I do not want it in my beer.
But Weiss beer, I'm not very keen.
I'm not mad on it.
Some people like it, but again, they produce, particularly the Scandinavians, are obsessed with very high alcohol double IPAs. They'll be 8%, 9%, 12%, which is like a sort of barley wine or something else. But it goes off, and it's not beer. It's ceased to be normal.
Yes, it's something else. You're not drinking beer anymore. There used to be a beer that I remember when I was a kid that used to, and we didn't drink it very often, but it was like a Russian brew of some kind, or it was called...
Sorry, Mike. William has a... William, could you just move across to your left?
My left?
Yeah.
Am I good? Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Back to where I started.
Don't know how you're behind his creek.
Yeah, no, that's all right. You might remember this, actually, because when I was a kid, or not a kid, but sort of 17, 18 when I was drinking.
It is nice.
There was a Russian-style, supposedly Russian-style beer that you could buy that was really strong. And it was called something like Imperial something or other, was it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
Because when I was a teenager drinking, we used to drink the Carlsberg Special Brew, because it would
my mother
Special Brew.
knock you out. I don't even know if they still make it.
I think they do. Yeah, it's
Do
about
they?
10%.
Did you?
10%.
Yeah.
I would love. You know what? I'd love to
Seriously.
get. I would actually break my now habit of not drinking beer to have one of those.
Yeah.
You and I'll have
Just
to go
to
and
test
have
them.
one.
It's 12%, isn't it?
It's,
10.
yeah.
Is it like gold?
When I was 14,
What is it?
8 or 9.
Oh,
when I was 14, this tells you how much times have changed. And I used to work in this bakery in Hampstead, Bulgarian bakery.
Yeah.
The guy that owned it was this incredibly interesting, entrepreneur character who'd escaped from Hungary in 1956.
Yeah.
And he gave me for my Christmas present a case of Special Brew, aged 14.
14? Come on.
I took it home. My parents were like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Case of Special Brew." I'm like, all right. They didn't care.
Yeah. Wow.
Fantastic.
William, you love
too
red
strong.
wine. Do you cook?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I don't really. You can't do everything in life, but I can look after myself. I mean, I do a decent mackerel kedgeree and a few standard dishes.
Mackerel kedgeree is not a standard dish.
No, it's lovely.
It
No,
doesn't
I do.
sound
Like,
like
bloody
Yeah,
hell,
my-
I don't even do that.
No, I can do that. No, I can do, and I.
Yeah, I don't cook much, but I should do a nice, meringue for you.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law is Korean and quite likes fish.
Korean food is amazing.
It is amazing.
Love
but
Korean food.
I made a bit, and she said, "Well, I could just eat this forever now. We'll just eat this, not eat anything else."
All right.
So I have perfected, but I'm specialised. I don't. No, I'm not.
We
the
didn't
kids,
ask
the kids cook. I mean, and a lot of young men.
Yeah.
Are brilliant
I love
cooks.
cooking.
Yeah, I love cooking.
Yeah, I agree.
But we didn't ask you the question of the day, actually,
Which is?
we asked a
what's
few
that?
other people. Gentleman's relish is apparently on the way out and
Yeah,
is no
quite-
longer going to be made, according to a
rightly.
piece in the paper.
Yeah.
And I've never fancied gentleman's relish. It
It's
sounds
awful.
horrible.
It's awful.
I don't really. I sort of associate it with old-fashioned, kind of horrible,
It's
fusty
vile.
old clubs.
It's vile.
Like, I mean, I know that you were talking about London clubs, and yours is lovely.
Yeah.
But you just associate it with sort of fusty old men that have a bath once a year or something, and
I think it's
get
one
up
of
and
those
put some
products-
gentleman's relish on some toast.
Why do people have it?
I don't know what it's for. You ever had it?
I don't even know what it is.
Really?
Let alone
well, there
know
you
what
go.
it's for.
Okay then.
Do you, Oliver?
Oliver, have
What
heard
is
of Gentleman's
Gentleman's
Relish?
Relish? Let me know what it is and I'll
It's a
tell
sort
you.
of, it's a,
anchovy paste.
it's sort of an
with
anchovy
crust and
paste.
It's very salty.
It's something you put on toast, effectively.
Well, I like anchovies in a tin, and sometimes I'll add them. I just feel like them. So I don't know. Unless I tasted it, I don't know.
Yeah. Have
Gentleman's
you ever
Relish.
had paste rather than pate?
Oh yes, yeah.
Which we used to have the reason I love it actually is because it reminds me of I used to play golf with my dad at a golf club in Richmond, and you would come in and have tea and a couple of rounds of toast with paste, and it would be shrimp and tomato.
Thanks, Oliver.
Salmon and shrimp, Shipham, Jeff. Salmon and shrimp, sardine and tomato.
Yeah.
They did a chicken one,
and a beef one.
a beef one.
When
you can still buy them, by the way.
You can do, I know. There was a salad one as well. No,
Yeah,
a salad
and
one,
it really,
whatever
I
it was,
used to love it. And it sort of, because it's nostalgic for me, it's nothing obviously as good as pate. But it's sort
good.
of cheap and cheerful.
I don't think it's, you think, I mean, it's like the other day we had a tin of corned beef. I hadn't had one for ages.
Yeah.
I just felt like it. I thought, wait a minute, corned beef.
Yeah.
Open it up and it's really nice. And we just thought, these things are probably things that you
Do you know what that's great
and
for? You know what you
taste.
can do with a tin of corned beef is
Go
you
on.
can make, you can mix it with some mashed potato and make it into corned beef hash and fry it.
Well, yes, that's
Which
it,
is-
yeah.
which
But
is what
these
they do in
are
America.
things that we don't, because people are prejudiced against certain things. In Korea, the Koreans will make, I think it's gimbap, it's called, it's like seaweed and rice, and it's like a little sort of sushi thing. But this is beautifully, delicately made with spam in the middle.
No, really?
And I was saying, are you sure?
Yeah.
So what is it like?
No, tinned spam.
Right. No,
It's a
but
delicacy.
is it like a starter you're talking about? that they
Oh,
make?
it's just, the little bites, really.
But they're much more expensive today.
But,
You get corned beef
that's
and
in
spam.
Korea. In South Korea,
Spam.
is an absolute delicacy.
Really?
Spam. Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
But they're not cheap anymore.
We
It
used
used
to
to
have
be corned beef
spam
used to be
fritters at
cheap.
school.
yeah.
That's it.
Spam
The
fritters
that's
for
what it's
lunch.
the fritters. That's what
Yeah.
it was, wasn't it? What have
Yeah.
we got in here? We've got mugs now.
Oliver's made a cocktail. He always does.
It's time for a quick break before we do the last two wines.
All right.
We've only got 8 minutes, Jack.
Yep.
because William needs to catch a train.
Oh, right, okay.
This is a Rosé Gimlet, which contains rosé
So
wine,
that's gin, right?
gin, and some either lime or lemon juice,
Okay.
and an optional elderflower syrup extra.
So this is with the,
that's
the
rather
Provençal wine.
The first one.
Yeah.
That's rather nice.
Oh yeah.
William's go back for seconds.
It's not too bad, actually.
No, it's very nice. Very, very.
It's nicely balanced. It's not too. I think the cocktail we had with Marilyn or maybe
Yeah, that
with
was
Anna
quite
was
strong.
like, whoa, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
that was. I think that
burnt
was
your
what
tongue.
finished her off.
That's
That
full,
was
of,
like rocket fuel.
It was.
full approval.
Petrol lawnmower at home.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was brilliant.
Yeah, right. No,
But
that's
this
lovely.
is subtle.
Very
more.
nice.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Rosé Gimlet.
A rosé gimlet.
Rosé Gimlet.
Because a gimlet normally is basically gin and lime juice
I
in
didn't
the
know.
old sort of cocktail
Okay.
book. Yeah.
All right.
Are you into cocktails?
Yeah, I would say so.
Have you been to Duke's Bar, and had the James Bond?
No. Where's-
Vespers?
No.
So it's in St James's. It's sort of Mayfair.
Is that
Central.
the-
Yeah.
Duke's
Not
Bar?
underneath?
Ian Fleming talks about it. He said
Okay.
that's like a bucket list thing. Have a shaken not stirred.
Oh, maybe we should go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's an Australian who's a member of the SDP, prominent member, who loves cocktails, and he took me there. And again, I like just drink red wine and beer. I'm not really interested. I don't drink spirits very
Yeah.
much. But no, this is beautifully done.
Yeah.
This
no,
is
I mean,
really,
I think
something
really
to
again,
do.
it's
Yeah.
not something I would do a lot of, but
No.
occasionally you meet somebody and go, let's go
Honestly,
have a
my
cocktail. You know?
Duke's Bar, I'll take you.
All right, take me, yeah.
Do it.
That sounds like
Yeah, no,
a
I
date
like that.
there.
It's decent.
Get that done.
It is very decent.
So the next place we're going to, obviously we're sticking with rosé. Going to be a bit darker, which it is here. Pinot Noir from Croatia.
You're going
Misal.
crazy on the Pinot tonight.
It looks like it. I
Yeah.
think we have Pinot in everything on this
Right.
basis. So Istria, Croatia. So northwestern
Croatia's not a
Istria.
place you hear about a lot in terms of wine, or you haven't brought as much Croatian wine.
I would say that
That's
they.
nice, isn't it?
Coffee. That's
Yeah.
absolute knockout.
Really?
That's
yeah,
good.
It's lovely. Yeah.
It's £40 a bottle approximately. It's 24 months
go.
on lease, but they're very the ladies that make this wine is two sisters. Very intensive flavours. We done our awards
That's very
1 year.
fresh, isn't it?
They're the only
coffee?
they won
I'm not
2
getting
awards
coffee,
once with us in 1 year, so they're that
Oh,
good.
really?
So Croatia do
Shall
amazing
I have
wines.
the bottle so I can
Yep.
share it to Pooch?
So Misal.
It's a pretty.
For me,
flavour
that's
as well, I
the
think.
best yet.
That's the best yet.
The first 3 are fantastic. Fourth is okay.
That way?
That's absolute
It's
knockout.
very intensive
Very,
flavours.
very
It's
nice.
really,
Very
really
nice.
good quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like about it, William?
It's got body, and it's after. I'm greedy. I want this. I want everything. I want flavour, but not too harsh.
Yeah.
And that's what it does.
No, I like that.
Yeah, a lot of body to it.
It is so good.
Yeah.
This wine is very, very good. They do amazing whites and rosés. And as I say, it's about £40 a bottle where you can find it. It's not easy to find.
Okay.
But you can get it via their website, but you need to order a fair few to make it economically viable.
Right.
Istria, northwestern, so as it points down to the top of Croatia on the Adriatic side there. It's just a very, very
so it's
good
up
wine.
near sort of Slovenia that way.
That's it, yes. Slovenia, I think, touches the Adriatic for about 20 miles or 30 miles kind of thing.
That's
all of
actually
those
syrupy.
areas. Yeah.
Right, hold that up. The colour's really
The colour's
is very
amazing.
nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I don't know if you've got...
right in front of your face.
I don't think you've got a Mike Graham...
Oh, sorry.
Have you got a
Right
Mike
there.
Graham show colour to go with that? A Mike Graham show colour.
Wow.
That's very good.
I mean, I like it a lot. I'm not sure it's better
like
than
Very
number
is
2
good.
and number 3,
Right, I think it's
for example.
Well, I'll tell you what, so we've done that. So Croatia, we've just gone into... We're going to do a bit of an older one. This one we've had for about 10 years in our cellar. It's 2014, so it's not that old. It's from Belgium. So Vincastel, so that's like a wine castle or wine estate. I'm going to try and say these. Ginel's Elderan Rosé Parel 2014.
Okay.
I'm giving it a French accent.
You don't hear much from Belgium on the wine front, do
You
you?
don't necessarily... No,
beers
you don't. But
Just
there are a
amazing.
Is that
few.
because they're too
It's-
far north?
I just think probably... I'm not quite sure.
Maybe
they've
we
not
don't
done
get
the
'em.
marketing.
Maybe.
Maybe they've not
Maybe
done the
it's one
marketing.
of those things that we get
as
what we
much.
get.
Yeah.
It's Pinot Noir, everybody, and it's 30% Chardonnay as well. It's 15 months in the bottle, and it's £40 a bottle where we can find it. So we're going to taste this one. I think we've tasted every wine, so maybe we should keep that tradition rather than throwing it
I don't
anyway.
really want to throw this one away.
I
threw the last
haven't
one away.
thrown anyway.
Have you not?
No.
Well, you
I
seem
think
fine,
it is
though.
pooch.
It's all
I think
right.
it
That's
is.
Belgian wine, isn't it?
I believe it is pooch. Yeah. We saw it on the shelf and we tasted one the other day and it was rather nice and we thought let's just take it down. It should be orangey colour rather than pink.
Okay.
We'll find out when we open it. Well, it's
Is
open.
it technically an orange? Or is
No,
it?
it's a rosé.
Okay.
But with the age and with the cork and all this, it kind of turns into an orangey colour. It's like where older white wines will go into like a tawny colour, and then the brown, even with the red wines, older wines would go into this tawny kind of browny colour. And you know you've got a good wine. Like when you had your older Barolo, it's not going to be red. It's going to go.
It's going to be sort of brown.
and it's going to taste lovely. You know.
I had a funny experience in Brussels once when my son Oliver was about. He wasn't more than about 2, I don't think, and we decided to go to Germany to see his mother's sort of friends and relatives and stuff. When we drove, because I just got a new car, and we came back through Brussels and spent the night in the Hilton in Brussels, which was very posh, and he was that small that you'd sort of give him a bath in a sink, you know. Anyway, so we'd been out for dinner, I think, and I was still smoking in those days, and you could still smoke
Everywhere.
in the lobby, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
she took him upstairs. I'm sitting in the lobby. These 3 very attractive black women came across to me, looked like supermodels,
And what do they say?
and they said, "Can we have a cigarette?"
Okay.
And I was sitting there smoking. I was like, "Yeah, okay." So, and then the other one was like, "Can I have one?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I gave him a cigarette each, and we lit the cigarettes. And then the first one went, "Do you want sex?" And I went, "Sorry?" And she went, "Do you want sex?" I'm like, "Not really. No." I said, "I've got my son and his mother upstairs. You know, I haven't really got
Bit
time.
busy at the moment.
We've got really got time. Just have a cigarette before I go back up there." You know, they were like, "Okay."
Well,
then. And they walked off.
it might have been, do you want a glass of sparkling wine?
Yeah.
Sect from
No, I don't think. No, I don't think that was what
I
they
heard
meant.
that wrong.
Probably not.
Yeah. Anyway, that was quite funny.
That is, 3 of them as well.
Yeah, I
Blimey,
know.
That you'd have been
I know. I could
bit
have.
knackered.
I might never have made it back here. You know.
No, you definitely would
Or I
have.
might have woken up in sort of, Zambia or something, you know.
Well, you could
with
have
all
done,
my
yeah,
pockets
yeah.
emptied out.
You probably would have done. That would have happened.
So the last one we're going to go to, everybody. I know we need to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It is Belgium. So let's just see. I'm not quite sure it's going
Also
to
a pink
perform.
label.
Grape-wise,
This is the first time we've had 3 pink labels, I think, Oliver. Isn't it?
No, I don't think I could find. I literally, we found this
God, that is
in our
dark, isn't it?
cellar.
Look at
I'm
that
not
one,
quite
Pete.
sure what the grape is on that.
Yeah.
See
Actually.
how dark that one. See how dark that one is.
Chardonnay, Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Is it
it's
Chardonnay
another-
Pinot Noir? I haven't got it written down. Okay,
See,
it's on the bloody label,
You
so it's
must
even
get
easier.
asked this all the time
What's
about the film, that
It is
film
good.
Sideways.
Sideways.
It's a great film.
Do you know the film Sideways?
No, you don't.
Oh,
I'm going to tip it. You've got to
Tell
watch
me.
this.
Yeah,
It's
tell us.
Thomas Hayden Church and what's his Giacomo, and a couple of guys in California go off for a weekend, old mates.
Right.
Get up to mischief, and it's all about the wine because the main protagonist is a wine enthusiast, and it's all about Pinot and how he hates.
That's what makes you think of the movie. It's
Merlot, and he hates it. But it's a fantastic wine movie. Probably the wine movie, really. But
Really?
Yeah, they're
I mean, now you
taste.
say it,
They're
I think I know the name of it. I don't think
you
I've
will.
seen it,
You
though.
will. You
I've
probably
heard
see
of it.
There's a very funny scene.
Coming on screen
Okay.
now.
Sideways. Watch this. I'm
Okay.
going to
that
plead.
that is to do
I'm
with
going to
the...
plead.
Oh, I love that
Mike,
guy. I love that guy on the left.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic. But the brilliant clip in it.
Steven
the wine
Spurrier
buff
movie, isn't it?
Takes his mate, who's a
it
bit of
not?
a
I don't
philistine, to a winery,
Right.
and he's tasting like this, and he's saying, "Are you chewing gum? Are you chewing gum?" And he was. Of course he was.
you
will
was, yeah.
love this film.
Okay.
Honestly, it's all
Sideways.
about.
I love the- I
Sideways.
love
Who's
the
the
guy
main
with the
actor?
beard.
Who's the main actor?
Paul Giacomo, is it?
Jack-
Oh,
yeah.
right, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. It's not the same movie.
And
then,
Thomas Hayden Church is the sort of secondary actor. But it's a very
Giamatti.
Giamatti, yeah, that's right.
Sideways.
Giamatti,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have a look.
Sideways.
Great
Sideways.
Yeah.
Well, we need to watch it as
It's
well.
very funny. It's very, very,
I'm
very
writing
good.
it down as we speak.
Sideways. It must be one of my top 50 films.
Oh, really?
Easy.
That
yeah.
good?
50 films. We're not going to go
I'm a
through them all
film
now.
buff. No,
You're
sorry,
not gonna go
no,
through
that's
them
that.
all.
That's
All right,
very,
okay.
no,
All
it's
right.
very
So
high
now, before
praise.
you go,
You're
you've now
high praise.
you've led yourself down the road now.
Oh,
So
on
what's your
films?
favourite film?
There we go.
Probably The Servant. Joe
Really?
Joe Losey, yeah.
Is that the one with Dirk Bogarde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I'm a Bogarde fan.
Yeah.
And the
But then
reason? Is it just because...
it's 1963.
What was that great film he did with Charlotte Rampling?
That was
Which was very sexy.
it was the one about the Nazi who
Yeah.
couldn't go out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Come Back to Me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
It was a sort of servanty type feel to it as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
there?
Certainly was.
Servanty.
Servanty.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a word.
Yeah, well,
check
they
there.
made
Whereas
the Servant. They couldn't release it.
Bogarde
They
was
couldn't
brilliant.
release it, and
Yeah.
it was James Fox, and it was like there was lots. Harold Pinter wrote the screenplay.
Harold Pinter.
Joe Losey shot the
The
film.
Night Porter.
The
The Night Porter,
yes.
yeah.
That's
The
a
Night
fantastic
Porter.
film.
Very
It's
good.
very dark.
Very
It's
dark.
a bit weird.
And
You know, a lot of odd kind of sex in it.
And I was thrilled. I met James Fox at an NCF do because through Lawrence.
Okay.
And it was just and I chatted to him for half an hour about the film, and I met Wendy Craig. Wendy Craig of Butterflies.
Yeah.
She's in the film as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she
That's
is.
a
Yeah,
strange
yeah.
one to be in.
Yeah, she was
Quite
great.
unusual.
She went
is,
to
yeah.
Durham High School, and I took the film poster. I have a film poster of it, and she signed it for me. So yeah, I'm a massive.
That's a very unusual. I
massive
didn't
fan.
think you would say that. I mean, I didn't know what you would say, but I mean, it's a very unusual favourite. Usually, somebody's. If I said to you, "What's your favourite film?" It'd be something. I think we've even talked about it.
Plane Trains and Automobiles I like, but
Okay.
then I
Decent
also
film.
like The Producers with Gene
Yeah,
Wilder
okay.
and Zero Mostel.
All right.
But we can go on and on.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
could.
On,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But then all the others are sort of Bergman films.
But
ones
that's
I like.
quite.
I
Yeah,
love
but
them.
that's quite an unusual one. I would
Specific.
say.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting note to kind of end this on, isn't it?
There you go.
I think so.
So, because I'm just thinking for you,
Watch
sir.
Sideways. No, I've got a train to catch back to Newcastle. But
Yeah.
You take any cold up there?
Have you seen this, William? The Holdovers.
yes, of course. Yeah.
Again,
That-
if you like Paul Giamatti.
yeah, he's doing the same sort of character.
Yeah.
Very, very good film, and that's a film that has
I haven't
space.
seen that either.
Space
Oh,
in it. Yeah, it's about a sort of a teacher at a public at a school. It's winter, and the people who couldn't go home to their parents, he's looking after. Takes them to New York. I think it's set in '71,
Right.
something like. So you'd love it.
Yeah.
you would love
Very
that
good.
film.
Yeah. Well,
He
that's soon. I'm gonna
is
do that
he
as
is
well.
brilliant. Watch
That's-
Sideways
that's
first.
That's my weekend
Watch
sorted.
Sideways first.
Because you know
Mike,
you have that thing where you go, well, we're going to watch that.
Sideways.
no, watch Sideways first.
The
and then-
holdovers.
The mother of your children will love them both.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Well, there we go. Well, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you. No,
Did
that's
you
no,
enjoy
yes,
that?
that
it's
was
been
fun, wasn't
fantastic. And thank
See,
you,
this is what
honestly,
we do,
genuinely, thank you for the invitation.
No, but this is what we're doing here, and I don't
And I
want to
take
bore
drinking
you.
seriously.
I don't want to bore you with our kind of mission, but we do have a mission.
Yeah.
And Pooch and I have spoken about it many times, and we want to just create this kind of community of people, of which Chris and Oliver are part, and just have a nice time.
Yeah.
And people like watching it because it's like normal. It's
Chilled,
not.
yeah.
It's not manufactured. There isn't a producer
You
going.
find
"Talk
the real.
about
You
this."
find the
There's
real
no
you.
script.
There's
That's the
no
best thing.
script.
Yeah,
You
we
find the
talk
real
about what we
you.
like.
You
But
find
also,
the real
there's no
person.
expectation.
Yeah.
You and I know each other.
Yeah.
We get on very well, and I don't have to agree with everything you say. we don't have to agree with everything.
No,
it's just a
it doesn't
conversation,
matter.
and that's kind of nobody else does it.
No, I know.
So that's what
I
we're
know.
doing.
But you find the real person. So the show does. You find the real person. So
You do.
Sometimes wine also helps to break down barriers.
And in Marilyn Hall's case, you find out that she's a complete piss artist.
Yes. But she's desperate to come back on the show.
I know she's not coming back for a while. She's already done a year's worth. Trust me.
Posts. She wants to come on. Bless her.
There you go. It will fly. It's been lovely to be here.
But thank you very much
see you.
for joining the show. So thank you.
And we get to sit around after you've gone and talk about you and drink more. So,
Well,
William, you get to take one bottle home.
if you want to take a
Yeah.
bottle home, we can give you a stopper for it.
God, that's
You're
incredible.
the-
yeah.
oh,
Put the
well,
cork
you
in.
pick your favourite as well before you go.
That's
So
the last
you-
one.
The last one.
yeah.
Yeah.
This
The
one,
Croatian one.
That's for you,
Then
sir.
you should
Very
take that.
kind.
Thank you.
Do you know what
you.
I'm going to say?
That's the train journeys.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
very
say,
much.
the Bolney for me.
I think that's an amazing choice. Well,
Which is
they're
a
all going to
really
be
lovely. I mean, I love the first one,
Yeah,
but
Bolney.
unfortunately, Oliver seems to have used most of it up for his cocktails.
Yes,
So there's not much point in me
Oh,
taking that one. I was
goodness,
looking forward
well,
to taking that one home.
Who's
It's gone.
having this one?
Gone.
That's the non-alcoholic version. Non-alcoholic
Folks
version.
has been sucking that one down.
Right.
Good
But thank
stuff.
you very
Well,
much.
listen, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
I
you.
should turn around here and go, that was Plonk of the Week. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We will be back, of course, with Plonk of the Week next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, have a fantastic weekend, what's left of it. And we'll see you on Monday at 7 a.m.